Hey guys, how many of you wish you were a bit more creative, but perhaps have never figured out how to tap into that part of your brain? Well, if that's the case, you're going to want to stick around because that's exactly what we're going to cover next on this week's bonus session of Manly Moments. Well, if I'm honest, I absolutely love the creative aspect of life, thinking outside the box. That's why I'm so excited today to be visiting with one of the most creative people I know. It's my friend and longtime writer, actor, comedian, and master creator, Bob Stromberg. How's it going, Bob?
Hey, great. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you for inviting me out to your place. So Bob has spent the better part of 40 years making a living from his creative endeavors, which is really amazing. So I have to ask, what's it like to have never had a real job in your life?
Well, I actually have worked. It's just that my life.
I know it's not what your folks had in mind, so I get that.
No. I wouldn't change a thing.
Oh, okay. So what about your dad then? I mean, he couldn't have been too thrilled that you went this route. I mean, this wasn't common for boys back in the 30s and 40s, was it?
Yeah, actually, it would be the 50s, Robbie. Okay. Yes, and I don't think it was too much of a surprise for my dad that I was the kid who enjoyed making my friends laugh because my dad was my principal. So.
Oh, what were some of the first things you actually pursued then? Was it singing, dancing? I mean,
well, I suppose in a professional sense, I started out thinking, well, I'm going to be a singer. I'm going to be a songwriter. And I played guitar, sang, did that for many years. I remember that I would always introduce songs with a particular story, and people really enjoyed the stories between my songs. And I do remember one time where my guitar did not show up on the airplane. And I was in a setting where I don't remember if they didn't have one I could use or whatever, but I realized, well, I'm going to string a bunch of stories together here and see what happens.
Show must go on.
And people loved it. And that's the first inkling I had that, boy, I could probably do this comedy thing.
This guy's a master storyteller. And I know you've performed at schools, churches, conventions, conferences. Yeah. In fact, the first time I ever saw you live was years ago, back in the 90s, at a Promise Keepers rally at the Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis, where you won over thousands of men with your routine. It was so impressive. And all I could think of watching you was, man, is this guy on drugs or what? Do you remember that?
Well, I do remember it. 50,000 guys, you do tend to remember an event like that.
That's impressive, especially considering the drugs.
No, no drugs.
Oh, okay. Well, regardless, I do know that you must be really good at winning people over. Like your wife, for example, she must have really been attracted to you. Why else would somebody marry such a modern-day vaudevillian anyhow?
Yeah, well, my wife, Judy, is a very, very special person, and we have been married now for 45 years.
45 years? Wow. Now, does she do drugs too?
No drugs, no.
Okay, well, great. I know you get around, because it says here on my notes that you, back in 2012, competed on America's Got Talent and made it to Vegas. Well, how fun was that?
Well, some of it was a lot of fun. It was a very, very fascinating experience for me. I did my first audition in Chicago, and it was Howard Stern and Howie Mandel and Mel B and Heidi Klum were the judges at that time. And it went really, really well. I do hand shadows, so I did a hand shadow bit. And of course, then the judges said things like, I remember Howie Mandel saying, you are the reason that AGT exists, you know, which made me feel kind of good. And my wife, Judy's up in the top there, and they've got the camera on her, and then we come off stage, and there's the hugs and all of this, and you're going to Vegas. And it was very exciting. When I got to Vegas, there were 200 performers in the room, and I started it was like my antennas then went up. This is several weeks later, and I realized, oh, I get it. This isn't really a talent show. This is a reality show. So I would say it's 90% a reality show and 10% a talent show.
That's funny.
So, but as it turned out, I was never aired. I did indeed get sent to Vegas. I did indeed perform there. But other people were getting hit on YouTube by the millions, and for some reason I wasn't getting the same number of hits. And so, as they say, America votes and the producers decide. So that's what it is. So, but it was great fun. Great fun. Wonderful experience.
Sounds like you're making the whole thing up. So it says here also more recently that you appeared on Steve Harvey's Little Big Shots. What was he like?
That was great fun. If you watch the video, you'll see me shaking his hand when we come on stage saying hello. That was the first time I met him. when we were on
Wow.
stage. Steve Harvey doesn't want to know anybody ahead of time because that's his comic, that's his deal.
Yeah.
Where he's winging everything.
Wow.
And he's very, very good at it.
Yes, he is.
And he's very good on it in that show too.
Well, I know also that it says that you have this long-running theater production called Triple Espresso. Long-running. It sounds a lot like Cats. Have you ever seen that show?
I have seen that.
Yeah, I've never seen that. I'm not a big fan of Cats. And do you guys have a cat?
No, we do not.
Okay.
What you were asking about Triple Espresso?
Oh yeah, Triple Espresso. Tell me about your coffee shop.
Show.
Coffee show. Tell me about your coffee show.
Yeah, I co-wrote this show, Triple Espresso, 25 years ago or so with a couple of my buddies. But as it turned out, within a week or two, people were lining up at the doors every night, and we realized we had a hit. And this thing just took off. It ended up running.
I never heard of it.
Yeah, well, it ran for 13 years here in Minnesota. It ran 11 years in San Diego. 6 languages, 4 different countries.
It does sound a lot like Cats.
Nothing like Cats, really. Nothing at all.
Well, let's move on to your other show that you wrote called The Wonder Book.
That Wonder Boy is the name of that show.
Is it any good?
It's very good. It won that at the United Solo Theater Festival in New York City. It won the top one-man show.
Best one-man show.
Yeah.
Sounds like you have trouble working with other people.
I love working with people. I do enjoy it.
Yeah, I know you do. In fact, that's how I first met Bob, when I signed up for his online course called Mastering the Craft of Creativity, which was excellent, by the way.
Thank you.
And so somebody that says, I can't tap into that creative part of my
Yeah.
brain, what practical suggestion do you have perhaps to give them?
I have 3 steps that I teach, and they are to grab what grabs you emotionally. So as you go through the day and you see something that grabs you emotionally, when I say emotionally, I mean any emotion. And I don't mean huge, I don't mean you laugh out loud, or I don't mean you weep. Just something that may be just fascinated by that, or how interesting, look at that. Or did you hear what she said to him? That made me feel this way. Little things, you grab those things and you write them down. Then when you grab it, you even going through one day or 1 week, you'll have a list of quite a few things, 10, 20 things, and you go back a couple times a week and you just peruse that list, and 1 or 2 of them will jump out at you. And then those are the ones that you want to interrogate. So you grab first, then you interrogate the ones that keep jumping out off the list.
What do you mean by interrogate?
Well, you ask questions. If you were a criminal and I was interrogating you, I would ask you questions over and over and over again. And the reason I would ask him questions is to find out what the truth is of what he did. I would ask, why do you still grab me? Why do I remember you? Why did you affect me that way? How could I use you? Are you a story? Are you an illustration? Are you a painting? Are you a song I should be writing? Are you a character in my book or my novel? Are you an article for this publication coming up? Depending on what your job is or how you would use your creativity. Finally then, though, if you interrogate something long enough, the truth will come out. And that's when you transform what you learn into whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
So that's why I say this is how you get your masters of creativity, GIT. You grab, you interrogate, and you transform. It's a discipline, and it really, really does work.
Well, that is fascinating stuff, Bob. Maybe I should take the course.
You did.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah. Drugs.
Well, if you liked what you saw, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. And if you'd like more information about Bob or his course, Mastering the Craft of Creativity, you can click on the link listed in the description below. And if you want, go ahead and even subscribe to this channel by clicking the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss a single episode. And we will see you next time for another installment of Manly Moments.